Kaldema Frapo. Welcome to the last video of the first part of this course. In this video, some other Neyri community members sent me some recordings of them introducing themselves. They'll use both things that you have learned in the past two videos, so the words and the phrases that you learned, but they also were a bit free with what they want to write, so there will be sentences and phrases that you haven't heard before. You don't need to try to look up everything you hear in the dictionary. This is more about listening to everything and trying to find the things that you already know in there. It is fine to not understand everything. That is actually very normal when you talk Neyri with someone and you not already have learned every single word in the dictionary. There will always be something that you don't understand. But today, try to focus on the things you understand and try to get some information out of the text, even if you only understand like a third of the things that is being said. Same warning as always, the pronunciations will not be perfect, there will be small mistakes. It happens, no one is a native speaker. So make sure to first learn about pronunciation before you use these listening videos. The same thing I say always, you probably can't hear it anymore. But let's just start and listen to Zangtsuva.
Kalde weru shaufko Zangtsuva, weri solaleuzisita bevosing. Kelkusi metan loge alutoitslan, ulteftiei litfiatia fapam sipumtia fameshok. Sohairu seiti irtaye sipumtiei wevenge. Sunu weru fuakar sifuasrat tekreti.
Let's listen to it again, but to a bit slower version.
Kalde weru shaufko Zangtsuva, weri solaleu zisit abevosing. Kelkusi me tanloge alu toitslan, ulte ftieia litfiati a fa pam se pumti a fa meshok. Soha airuseiti irtaye se pumti wevenge. Sunu weru fua kar se fua srat tekreti.
Let's look at what they said. So they started with
Kalde weru shaufko Zangtsuva.
Kalde weru shaufko Zangtsuva. You should be very familiar with this one because you learned both the Kalde for hello and the way to say my name is or one calls to me. Next they say
Weri solaleu zisit abevosing.
Weri solaleo zisit abevosing. You're also familiar with this, but of course looking up the numbers can be a bit hard. But you probably understood that the sentence tries to tell you their age. And that's true. They say, I'm 28 years old. Next they tell us
Kelkusi metan loge alutoitslan, ulteftiei litfiatia fapam sipumtia fameshok.
Kelkusi metanloge alutoitsan ulte ftieia litfiati afapam sepomti afameshok. Here they use sentences you haven't learned so far. They use another way to say that they're coming from a certain place. So they say Kelkusi, I live, me, in, tanloge, the country, alu, Deutschland, which is Germany. So Deutschland sounds a bit like Deutschland, which is a German way to say Germany. And then they tell us also that they are studying spoken and signed languages. Literally they say, and I study languages that are with sound and with the two hands. Let's listen to this entire first part again, and you can read along.
Kelde Werushavko Zangtsuva, Weri Solaleuzisita Bevosing, Kelkusi metanloge alutoitslan, Ulteftiai litfiatia fapam sipumtia fameshok.
Next, they told us,
Sohairu seiti rtaye sipumtia wevenge.
Soha airuseiti rtaye se bomti ewevenge. This is again something we haven't learned so far, but what they said here is, I'm enthusiastic about living things of the earth and Pandora. Lastly, they tell us,
Sunu veru fuacar se fuasrat tekreti.
Sunu veru fuacar se fuasret dekreti. Here you probably recognize the sunu veru fua. So they're probably telling us they like to do something, and indeed kar means to teach, so they like to teach. And they also like to sret dekreti. Dekre is my name. It also means skull, but it's also my name. And what they're saying is, I like to teach and to annoy Tekre, which is very true because they correct my Natvi basically every single time I use Natvi. Let's listen to this part again so you can read along.
Sohairu seiti rtaye sipumtia wevenge. Sunu veru fuacar se fuasrat tekreti.
Now, let's listen to the next introduction.
Calma frapo, weruf koshau Neyri. Weri solaleu bevopeya zesen. O enewamam nidan. Sunu weru farnerume. Welle fiati le na viftia munea wasp eos semaulo.
And here's the same introduction, but in a bit slower.
Calde ma frapo. Weru fko shau Neyri. Weri solaleu bevopeya zesen. Oe newamam nidan. Sunu weru fwa nerume. Well le fiati le navi ftia munea vasp eo se maulo.
Let's look at what they said in detail. First, they told us,
Caldema frapo, weruf koshau Neyri.
Caldema frapo, weruf koshau Neyri. Again, you know what this means. Hello everyone, my name is Neyri. Next, they tell us,
Weri solaleu bevopeya zesen.
Weri solaleo bevopeya zisit. So again, you know this phrase. They tell us their age. In this case, they say, I'm 27 years old. Next,
Oe newamam nidan. Sunu weru farnerume.
Oe neomum nedan, sunu veru fwa nerume. The first part you can't really understand yet with what you know, but sunu veru fwa, they're again talking about that they like to do something. And that is true. They say, I'm very curious and I like to learn. Lastly, they tell us,
Welle fiati le na viftia munea wasp eos semaulo.
Well, fiati le natviv dia, munea wasp eo se maulo. Again, this is a sentence that you haven't learned yet, but there is something with Natvi in there, and they're telling us how long they have been studying Natvi. I studied Natvi for 2.5 months, or for 2 months and a half, literally. Let's listen to the entire introduction again so you can read along.
Caldema frapo, weruf koshau Neyri. Weri solaleu bevopeya zesen. Oe newamam nidan. Sunu weru farnerume. Welle fiati le na viftia munea wasp eos semaulo.
That was Neyri's introduction. Let's listen again, Juneko, to the next introduction.
Galde ma frapo, shialfko weldru nicejeans. Zau USF2 oe ulte bevofua zizet solaleo weldri. Sunu weldru fwa pukti inan sifwa tiran natring me ulte kizimbulde da sunu nam ai.
And the same introduction, but in a bit slower.
Calde ma frapo, xiao fko weldru nicejeans. Zau USF2 oe ulte bevofua zizit solaleo weldri. Sunu weldru fwa pukti inan se fwa tiran na ringme ulte kezimbulde da sunu dampai.
Let's look at it again sentence by sentence. First, they tell us
Galde ma frapo, shialfko weldru nicejeans.
Calde ma frapo, shaufko weru nicejeans. Again, you know this one. You notice probably a pattern. It always starts kind of in the same way. Hello everyone, my name is Nicejeans. Next, they tell us
Zau USF2 oe ulte bevofua zizit solaleo weldri.
Zau you safe duoe ulte bevofua zisset solaleu weri. This one probably looks vaguely familiar, but not exactly the same as you learned before. You learned oe zau fdu USA. But here suddenly the word order changed and the fdu is behind the USA. And yeah, that can happen. So Natvi is pretty free. You will learn it when you learn more about grammar. So the words are still the same, but they're arranged differently, but it still means the same thing. So they are telling us that they're from the USA. And again, they're telling us about their age, so they're 30 years old. Next, they tell us
Sunu weldru fwa pukti inan sifwa tiran na ring me ulte kizimbulde da sunu nam ai.
Sunu weru fwa pokti inan se fuateran na ringme ulte kesempelde da sunu dampai. Here they tell us a lot of things they like to do, but also things they like. They like to read books, walking in the forest, and of course they love the ocean. There they said da sunu instead of sunu. Da sunu is kind of a stronger version of sunu. So yeah, instead of just saying I like the ocean, they say here I love the ocean. Let's listen to the entire introduction again so you can read along.
Galde ma frapo, shialfko weldru nicejeans. Zau USF2 oe ulte bevofua zizit solaleo weldri. Sunu weldru fwa pukti inan sifwa tiran na ring me ulte kizimbulde da sunu nam ai.
3 introductions done, 1 to go. Let's listen to the last introduction of this video.
Calde, werufko shau Seyra, solaleo tivomuna zizit weri, ulte zauf tu Canada, wamwelftia mezizito lit fiati lenatvi, zon oe tivon livu uninterantok, zel ftive wel futalu met kaina, taluna weru dasunu fuas lele dampaime. Smon niperte, ma frapo.
Here is the same introduction again, but in slower.
Calde, werufko shau Seyra, solaleo tivomuna zizit weri, ulte zauftu Canada, wamwelftia mezizito lit fiati le natvi. Zun oed sivun livu unil terentok zel ftive wel futalu metkaina. Taluna weru dasunu fuaslele dampaime smon niperte mafrapo.
Let's look at it sentence by sentence. First, they tell us
Kalde weruf go shau Seyra.
Kalde, weruf go shau Seyra. So hello, my name is Seyra. Next, they tell us
Solaleo tivomuna zizit weri. Ulte zauf to Canada.
Solaleo tsevomuna zisit weri, ulte zauf du Canada. Again, those are phrases you know, or at least you have seen them in a slightly different way. So they're telling us about their age, they're 34, and that they are from Canada. Next, they tell us
Wamwelftia mezizito lit fiati lenatvi.
Wom welfdia me zisito litfiati lenatvi. You have seen the word fdia already and litfiati lenatvi also. So they're telling us again, like someone else did before, how long they've been studying Natvi. In this case, they studied Natvi for approximately 2 years. Let's listen to the entire part again, so you can read along.
Kalde weruf go shau Seyra. Solaleo tivomuna zizit weri. Ulte zauf to Canada. Wamwelftia mezizito lit fiati lenatvi.
Next, they told us
Zon oed zivon livu uninterantok. Zel ftive wel futalu metkaina.
Zunoet zivon divu uniterantok. Zelft ivei wel futa lu metgaina. So the sentence is not done there, but I cut it in half because there's a very long, very complex sentence. I will just give you a translation here. If I could be an avatar, then I'd choose to be Metgaina. And then they give us a reasoning for it. They say,
Taluna weru dasunu fuaslele dampaime.
Taluna weru da sunu fuaslele dampaime. Here, the few words probably look a bit more familiar. We have the da sunu fua, so they love to do something. We actually had almost exactly the same sentence in the listening 1.2, so there we had Weru sunu fuaslele, I like to swim. So yeah, they're telling us that they love to swim in the ocean. So they choose to be a Metgaina because they love to swim in the ocean. Lastly, they say
Smon niperte mafrapo.
Smon ne prte mafrapo. Smon ne prte is another very useful phrase that we actually didn't learn, but it means nice to meet you. So they're telling us nice to meet you, everyone. Let's listen to this part again so you can read along.
Zon oed zivon livu uninterantok. Zel ftive wel futalu metkaina. Taluna weru dasunu fuaslele dampaime. Smon niperte mafrapo.
And that was already it. Luce baum ngarusrak, nije baum. Do you have questions? Just ask. As always, you can reach out in the comments, you can reach out on Discord or via email. Thanks again to Zangtsuva, Neyri, Nicejeans and Seyra for providing their introductions for this video, and I hope I'll be able to feature a lot more different Natvi speakers in the future in these videos because we have so many great Natvi speakers. If you want to continue now with learning, then you can go to chapter 2, which starts as always with a grammar video, namely simple sentences this time. If you are just here for the listening, then you can immediately jump to listening 2.1, which is another vocab video. Note that if you watch this video at release, some videos might not be up yet because I upload the course chapter by chapter, which means that all the videos of chapter 2 will come out probably 2 to 3 weeks after chapter 1 is uploaded. So you might right now just see empty screen here. The videos will appear at some point. Hi, Jadova, ma frapo.